Hey y'all, what is up? I think is today Thursday? I think it's Thursday, but I'm really not quite sure. So, what's up? My name's Alexis Olson. I'm coming to you live from Missoula, Montana. So happy to be here with you. If you are on this live, please comment below #live. And if you're on here watching the replay, I'm so glad you're here. I miss you. Comment below #replay. And if you're new here, I have a lot of new friends on here per usual. If you're new here, please comment below #new and let me know what city and town or city and state you're tuning in from. Hopefully it's not too distracting. I think they're mowing the lawn outside. But yeah, it's, the middle of the afternoon here in Montana, USA. And I just wanted to come live and just share a little bit of my story with the ups and downs of specifically teaching group fitness. But if you're like me and you're someone who is growing in whatever area of your life, you probably have learned by now that you can take someone's experience from any area of their life or any, whether it be the music industry or sports or public speaking or school, academics, like whatever it is, you can pull from people's experiences and their strengths to apply it to your situation or what you're working on. So that's what I hope to do for you today by sharing this specific experience to me. Hey Anna, thanks for being on here. Or Armo, sorry, I don't have my glasses on. So if you see me leaning forward and squinting, that's why, is because I cannot see that well without my glasses. But yeah, so I felt called to share about this because I didn't quit. I didn't give up, and there were many times I wanted to, and I just wanted to share like how hard it was and what it looks like to get through the other side of that. So if you're excited to hear about this, I know not everyone's a personal trainer or wanting or having the desire to teach group fitness, but this was the scariest thing for me to do. And whatever your scary is, whatever thing that you've been thinking about, maybe you have a desire on your heart that you're not pursuing and you have legitimate reasons why you're afraid. I hope that you get something out of this. So if you're excited to hear about it, please comment a 3 in the comments below. Thanks, Mallory. I appreciate you, babe. Hey, Hassan, what is up? From Istanbul, what is up? What time is it in Turkey? I love when people from all over the world get on here. Okay. So for those of you that don't know my story, I started teaching group fitness about a year ago exactly. And, it was so scary. I had become a personal trainer, but I wasn't practicing. I just had my certification. And for those of you that don't know, getting the certification is not that difficult. I mean, you have to study. The test is really hard. There is definitely something to be said for going through that certification process, but it doesn't automatically make you a good trainer or make you a good teacher at all if you don't have experience. And so this was my first experience teaching in person, and if it wasn't for my friend, who has friends out there that are like, bitch, you need to do this? If you have a friend like that out there in your life, comment below a 4 who's always pushing you outside your comfort zone. I hope you all have a Brandy in your life, so shout out to Brandy Thompson. That's that girl for me in my life. And so she went before me, right, and started teaching group fitness and just encouraged me to apply, and she just kept bothering me about it. It is, 0:30. What does that mean? I don't know what time that is. So yeah, she just encouraged me to do it, and she's like, you need to do it. You're going to do well at this, blah, blah, blah. And so I interviewed, which was, I always sweat when I interview. And even when I go live, I'm not nervous, but my body is, if that makes any sense. So I sweated profusely throughout the interview process, and then they asked me to audition, and auditioning was terrifying. I thought I was gonna throw up, not actually, but I was really nervous. Okay, middle of the night, what you doing on Facebook, man? And I'm glad you're here. And so I applied, and then after that, the feedback that I got as I was teaching was not exactly always positive. And there was a lot of things said to me and I want to preface this with saying, I'm so grateful for everyone that was, the people that came to consult us at the gym that I work and give us feedback, and for my bosses and my group fitness managers. I've had a few over the last year. I'm so grateful for them. Even if the feedback was criticism. I'm so grateful for that criticism, but I don't know if I was in the moment. You know what I mean? I think that's really natural with humans. And, you know, things were said to me like my playlist kind of sucked. Like I had a couple good songs, but it sucked. Hi, Hillary. Thanks, babe. And what else? Like, you know, things about my energy levels, like saying I wasn't enthusiastic enough or I wasn't pouring enough energy into people. And like, I really started to get in my head about it, and it actually started affecting the way that I taught. And so I don't know if anyone has ever experienced that in anything, where you got some kind of criticism and you really let it define you and you didn't know how to not let it define you. But here was really the catalyst and the distinction that I had is I started teaching at another studio, and again, like teaching formats I've never really taught before because I was brand new still in everything I was doing, even though I've worked out for, like close to 2 decades. And, you know, I had someone who really believed in me, and I had someone who told me, you know, whatever any feedback anyone's ever given you before, just know that you're needed here, and the way you teach is like nobody else, and there's certain people that are going to gravitate to the way that you teach and the way that you show up, and I want you to be yourself, and I don't want you to let whatever's been said change the way that you are, because what you have to offer is special. And so the point, I share this because I could have not listened to the positive, right? I could have, you know, and sometimes we don't have any positive reinforcement, right? Especially if we're trying to do things that are different or that people don't understand, or we're making financial decisions or investments, and especially as women, you know, sometimes our partners in our life, whether, you know, you're in a heterosexual relationship or not, sometimes people just don't understand, and it can feel really lonely. So in times where I didn't have positive reinforcement, I had to be that for myself. And that's hard because you really have to dig deep. But, you know, even with that positive reinforcement, I could have chosen to like listen to the negative things, or, you know, to me, I like perceive them as negative when really people were just trying to be helpful. But I chose not to, right? I chose to lean into that, and I chose to try to keep getting better and researching things and watching YouTube videos. And slowly but surely, like, things changed. You know, I started getting better at it, and it's just been it's been so cool to do something like that in real life, you know, because I've done a lot of things on social media that were outside of my comfort zone, and I've built businesses on social media, where many of times I wanted to quit, or many of times I felt like no one cared what I had to say, or I didn't have the followers or the views or the network or the personality or the skill set, whatever it is. But, you know, slowly but surely what started to happen, and this was like a good like 8 months of like not being good, like, you know, not really getting that great of feedback. And when I did get positive feedback, I kind of thought it was out of pity, and like they just wanted me to believe in myself to like keep teaching there. But anyway, slowly but surely what started happening is like people would come up to me after class, or people would come up and tell the front desk like that was the best class I've ever taken, or the only reason I have my membership is because of Alexis's class. And I don't share that to brag or to impress, but to like impress upon you what it looks like to keep failing forward. And what else happened? And so, yeah, you know, and like the other day, I wanted to share this because the other day a woman came up to me who took my class and said, "Oh my God, I love your playlist." You know what I mean? And so if you keep going with whatever you're doing, the things like the negative things, or the things that you perceive as negative feedback when someone's coaching you, soon those are going to be your strengths, or soon those are going to be things that you're just a little bit better at. You're you're not sucking at completely. And so I just think in whatever we can do in life, I think that don't rob yourself the opportunity by quitting, because I know it's really corny to say, but the only true sense of failure is quitting and not continuing to show up. And let me tell you how uncomfortable and how much anxiety I had, like showing up to teach, like really believing I wasn't good enough, but showing up anyway. And that took so much strength, and I didn't necessarily feel good from doing it. It wasn't until months and months and months and months and months and months of doing that and feeling uncomfortable until finally I was like excited and I was confident and I knew people were gonna love it. And, you know, putting that energy out there, like that's what I got in return, but it wasn't through it didn't happen until I went through it. And so as a lot of you know, I help women learn how to build an online business. I'm in the community-based marketing industry, and I absolutely love it with all of my heart, because for me, not only do I get to help people with their health and fitness, even when I was overweight, even when I was still trying to figure it out, right? You get what you give. And even in those times where I was overweight and I couldn't figure out how to lose weight, I still knew things. Like, I still knew things. I still had knowledge. I still had other people's stories. And so what I love so much about community-based marketing is that not only do I get to help people with their health and fitness, regardless of where I'm at on that journey, because that's an ebb and flow. Sometimes we don't always have our health for whatever reasons. You might be able to hear that in my voice right now. But what I love so much about this industry is that not only do I get to do that, but I also get to help empower women to like feel worthy of receiving money and for whatever their experiences have been in the past. And I get to help coach people through these things until they believe in themselves. And so I just love it so much. And I just hope that whatever it is, because I know I've talked to so many of you that are interested, that want to learn more, that ask me about how I travel all the time. And I just really want to drive home the fact that I haven't always been good. And in fact, I still feel like when it comes to my potential, that I'm still in the infancy of it. Like, it's still not even fully sprouted out of the ground. Like, I still feel underground in a lot of ways, but in a very exciting way. And so so anyone who's reached out and has maybe been hesitant about it because of time, I don't know if you've been paying attention, but there was many of times for many years that I was in my work uniform making live videos trying to give value in my car. Like, in my car. There were, you know, or like in between school, in between classes. Like, I'm not a trust fund baby. I don't, you know what I mean? I don't have like some of the things and maybe opportunities that other people have had. But I want to share that because I've met so many women, and I was able to connect with a lot of women that I went to Kentucky this weekend that have like 5 kids, that their husbands work full time, or have 1 kid and they're like a new mom and they're a young mom, and they're still figuring it out, and they're still doing what they can. And all I know for sure is that if you have a desire to make more money, if you have a desire to change even if it's just a little bit, even if it's just like more grocery money, or for me, I've shared before, when I lived in Portland, Oregon, I really just wanted more gas money. So if I wanted to get the heck out of town and drive to the hot springs by myself, I could afford that and not worry about what I was spending on gas. Like, how ridiculous is that? I was working full time and making pretty good money, and I still couldn't afford to do that. I couldn't afford to do that. And so at a very young age, in my early 20s, I started realizing that if I wanted to have the life that I wanted, and not like go to school forever to become a doctor or like a lawyer, and like not have like that home life or that like lifestyle balance that I knew I desired, like there's certain things I don't want to sacrifice, right? I just quickly started realizing just having 1 job, and maybe you already know this, maybe you have 2 jobs, right? I've been there too. I was serving tables while going to school full time, while working in retail full time. So with this, right, the accessibility of being able to have my phone and be on Wi-Fi and, you know, work in spare pockets of the day, that builds up over time. That builds up. And I think even more than making money, what's so gratifying about it is watching yourself grow and like watching who you become in the process. And so I know not everyone has a desire to build a business, but I do know that there are a lot of women that follow me that do have a desire for more. And I would be so honored to coach you through that and bring you onto our team. We have so many amazing women on our team that are at all different levels, not just in their health and fitness journey, but with their money mindset, with social media skills, and, you know, people that have never gone live before, people that, you know, still doubt themselves every day, but we work with them to help them overcome those things. And in doing that, it trickles into every single other aspect of their life. And that's why I feel so indebted and grateful for being involved in community-based marketing, is because my relationships have gotten better, because I know if I'm not doing well, like I can clearly see that because it goes into my business. And so it's been such a great and unexpected measuring stick for all little areas of my life. And you know, when something isn't going well, it's really clear. Whereas if I wasn't doing something like this, and I'm not around people who are like high level earners or make a high level of impact on humanity or other leaders or just people, whatever it be, if I wasn't around that, I wouldn't have the contrast to like see how much better I can get. Does that make sense? Because if we're only surrounding ourselves by the same people from our community, the same people we grew up with, went to high school with, our family, our peer circle, you might not realize that there's so much more, and that there's so much more to tap into, and there's so much more for you. And I think that's what we all want in life, and that I know for sure. So thanks for listening to me share this story. And if you wouldn't mind sharing this out and you know, spreading a little bit of light and positivity into people's news feeds, I would surely appreciate it. Hi Marvin, thanks for hopping on here, and I love you so much, and I'm excited to talk with you. If you're that one person who's like, I'm gonna reach out to that girl, I'm gonna hit her up, then I'm excited for that. So talk to you soon. Love you. Bye.